Right, guys, sunny September. It's still there. Still quite warm during the days here. Not too hot, but it's beautiful. Nice, cool mornings and cool evenings. Fantastic. So there's a subject which a lot of people um, are weighing up, probably looking at Bulgaria. It's like, could I make a shot of it? Could I make a go of it? Now I've been through this before, but like there's a lot more people like kind of having a look at the channel lately, which is great. So I'm hopefully getting some good information out there. So I go back to the same thing. I'll just recap on like is Bulgaria a good destination if you want to get out of the UK? And I would say yeah, but not for everyone. Like everywhere. Spain, it wasn't for me. I spent a lot of time down Andalusia way, albeit mainly in Gibraltar. But like, it wouldn't, I wouldn't move to Spain, probably ever. Um, I wouldn't even consider it, because the cultural differences. I didn't like Spain. I don't like the hours they keep, the late nights and the cultural stuff. They're very, very noisy. They like chatting a lot here, but they're not that noisy. The whole thing in Spain, just didn't. Me and Spain are not compatible. And that's going to happen. A lot of people come to Bulgaria and like they really don't like it. And there's those, it's like Marmite maybe, like anywhere, it's like, it just depends on personality, and then it depends on budget. Right, if you're trying to escape from the UK because you're skint, like Bulgaria is worth looking at, because you can live here cheaper than Spain probably. You can definitely buy property here cheaper than probably anywhere, apart from like maybe Serbia and Macedonia about the same. I would say you can get more bargains here, but that's another story. And buying property, you don't want to end up in the middle of nowhere, and you don't want to end up in another demographic, if you know what I mean. So is Bulgaria worth a shot? Well, it's worth a look, And if you're not sure, maybe come and have an extended look. That would be a good way to do it, if you can, if you've got the time. You might not have the time. You might already have to bail out, the UK. So the next thing is a lot of people. It depends how old you are and like what stage you're at in career and all the rest of it, and what you could be looking at doing here. I would say probably if you've got a good skill like welding or something like that, and you're young and you've got energy to waste, then something like that would be good. Or you can do land clearance and gardening, but it'd be good to have a jack of all trades, like the handyman type of thing, with a few skills. That would be, useful, and something like welding would be useful here. Looking at not just welding things for people, but like putting things together, making things and stuff like that. Now, arts and crafts, I think there's an opening for that here. I really do. And it's good for, in the UK is good for crafts, cottage crafts industries, things like that. I think there's an opening for that. You might need a little bit more language there if you're aiming at the locals. Now there's other things, a lot of things you can do online now. Like most of my life is spent online doing various things, and this is the latest. You can do YouTube. A lot of people do it. YouTube who come to Bulgaria, and a lot of them disappear, and I can see kind of in the background why, because they've ended up in the middle of nowhere, in a remote place, and it's miles to anywhere. So, and them making a business is going to be a bit more difficult. You want to be in a semi-rural place, semi-rural, like this place here. And we have tourists here, and places like this, my house, I could easily make an apartment upstairs, or a gîte in the back garden, or something like that. Little cabins or something like that. That'd be a good one, and on site where you live. So there's no travelling involved. You're not renting anywhere out. Your costs are like minimal. The electric is on your feed and all the rest of it. And any business I like now, and I've noticed in the Balkans is beating the West now, because the West, you tend to go and rent a shop in a high street or something, or a restaurant, and that's what's killing people, the rates and the rents and all the rest of it. And if you do it on site where you live, you can do a lot of things on the one plot. You wouldn't do too much, but have a plan. You might go for a bigger property with the view to like letting some of it out. If it's got to look at the layout then. If you want to do it as like letting, say, an apartment or something, you've got to see if you can split it and things like that. Or you could have a workshop, like welding or woodworking, or I was looking at those CFC machines. That would do okay. You can program them to carve things and even engrave, and also I think they can do rock as well, carve rock, and plastics and all sorts of things. You could make house name plates or all sorts of stuff like that. Or come up with something yourself. Have a look around. And the craft side, the resin stuff is good in the UK, and it's easy to put together. Stuff like that. Wood turning. You can make things with that. And but so if you do it like a little home-based setup, maybe some rental rooms, maybe some camping, couple of 3 places, or park ups for depending on the land, park ups for motorhomes, something like that. And people will find you eventually, But I would say to do something like that, you'd have to have something behind you, some money behind you, and ideally that would be suitable for like people who've got equity in a property and have decided like the UK is not for them, which was like me. I was like, I didn't hate the UK, but I thought it was going to be better here, and it is a lot better. Especially if you're getting up to like retirement age, but semi-retired, it's especially good here. Because if you're fully retired and you're getting like bad health and all that, that's another story. But you'd have to look into that as well. But so it all depends on your stage of life and what all your skills are. And online stuff you can do, if you can work remotely or teach English. You can teach English all over the world online. And it doesn't have to be in Bulgaria. It can be anywhere, and online. And you can do it. I do like digital assets and stuff like that, without going into too much detail. But if you were a trader or something like that, or you could develop all that before you came here, that's what I did actually. I had a few things going anyway. online and that before I moved here permanently. But I also invested a lot of money over the years here. Everything came here, and a lot of it was equity out of housing spikes in the UK. So if you've got equity, like like say 20 grand, you can buy a house outright here, and then sit on it, and then when you're ready to sell the house there, if you can beat the equity, which you should do. That's why it's called equity. Then you've got a free house here, free, on the back of a rising market over there. But like the problem there, if you do it there, you've got to buy another house there if you stay in there. You're starting the whole process again. And if anyone knows about mortgages, that's the worst time. If you get a mortgage after mortgage, you're paying nothing off the principal all the way through. You never. People think it's a ladder, but it isn't. It's a spiral. If you don't have you've got to go down the ladder there, not up it. Because you go up the ladder, you're owing more each time, and your time is getting shorter to pay it off, and your principal doesn't get paid off until the last few years. Starting the last, if it's 30 years, the worst years, well, it's all bad, unless you've got an exit plan strategy halfway through, or 5 or 10 years, whatever. But then you've got to be looking at the markets, and see if I don't think property is good in the UK anymore, or at the moment, shall we say. So could you make a go of it here? Well, yeah. And if you get into retirement age and you've got equity and you can sell up over there, it's bingo, what you're waiting for, that's the best. That's kind of what I did, sort of. But I had a few bells and whistles because I started years and years ago and invested steadily all the way through. And then I cashed in the UK. And I already had a load of stuff here. And I was virtually set up here anyway, based here. This was my main home anyway. Even though I still had a house in the UK, I never used it. I was on the road. I was on the road trip around the UK, construction. So you can do it long term like I did, short term. Just come up with a plan, and depending on your age, come and have a look, see if you like it, and then you can even start from scratch here if you wanted. Build somewhere from scratch. It'd be an ideal thing if you're going to do that, is get somewhere with foundations and the permissions already all in place, because that's a bit laborious. It can be done, and but it's extra costs. If you can find a place with foundations or a good footprint, and it's a wreck, just level it and build off the same footprint. You can do that, or buy another good one if you've got a little bit more dosh. Although I don't know what to go for now. It's like just a bare bones frame, concrete and bricks. The frame of the house is up, roof and nothing else. No windows or finishes or anything. If I was going to buy a property now, that's exactly what I would buy in Bulgaria, and even for renovating property, purposes. And if I was going to renovate it and sell it, that's what I'd be looking at these. And I don't know what they're going for now at the moment, but I would imagine probably 15-20 grand for in a good half decent area for just a shell. A new shell, not an old one, a new one. Or you can buy the ruins. I mean, that'd probably be a cheaper way to go. And just level it And you can use a lot of the materials actually as well. If there's a lot of stone there, you can have nice stone walls and, one or two feature walls in the new property. That's what he's doing next door, this guy. He saved all the stone. So yeah, what's the cost if you just want a move-in property, unfurnished, let's say, in a decent area? Don't look at in the middle of nowhere. And if you're going to buy somewhere, always go to the nearest village and see who's sitting outside the shops and how many people there are and how well stocked the shop is. That's a good way to size up a village and what people are driving about in. Because there are actually some villages which have been kind of inhabited by, the wealthy businessmen and the nearest town have colonised a little area, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses, and they're worth looking at, well-kept houses, We've got a little place outside the town here, like Beverly Hills, But could you, is Bulgaria worth a shot? Well, look at other countries and look at the cost there. You won't get anywhere cheaper now for property in Europe, or better, cheaper and better. Just doesn't exist anymore, I think you can get cheaper places in the mountains and that, in Italy. But you're looking at quite remote and like mountain towns, and they're quite often it's difficult to get to, and you'd have to really want a life away from it all. And I'm not sure what the internet and all that's like in Italy, but there are cheap houses there, and quite nice, Places called Abruzzo. That's a region towards the south of Italy, But apart from that, there's not many cheapo places left, and it's going up here slowly, not quick. It's going up slowly now. It's going up quicker than it was. It didn't really move for years and years. But I think it's moving now because a lot of the old properties have fallen down now into nature. Because there was a lot of properties then empty, but they've all fell down. So there is people are coming back here, and people are staying. So I think there is demand, definitely. A friend of mine is the estate agent, which I bought a lot of properties of. And he said it's booming, and it's mostly Bulgarians. So there you go. So they're looking for properties and they're buying them. The last one I sold was to Bulgarians. The last two were Bulgarians, and coming back from abroad, and one of them was getting funded from abroad. I think that the father's working over in Germany, and he just bought it because for somewhere to invest in Bulgaria, big piece of land. So people are coming back and they are investing here, definitely, absolutely. So it all depends on your circumstances and what and you've got to be a little bit adventurous, It's not all going to be laid on a plate for you here. Nothing is. You have to be good at working in and out of looking at the cracks in the fence, see all the opportunities, But in my opinion, if you could do it, you could do it. You might struggle if you come here with just a shirt on your back. But if you're young enough, things just work out. They really do. You'd always find someone or something. I mean, I emigrated when I was 25 to southern Spain, Gibraltar, and I didn't know anyone there, really, except my missus, and she was from there, but I didn't get, there was no silver spoon. I didn't get any help. I was basically on our own, and you just things just you've got to make a go of it. People do. Look at all the immigrants go to England. They'll get sorted out eventually, or to find something. Maybe you could even become a criminal here, something. That's what most of them do. Go to the UK and become criminal gangs and that. There's always something will turn up. But so is it still an option? Definitely, absolutely. I'd say come and have a look at least if you've made your mind up and you can't stand the UK anymore, or you want a fresh start, But you've got to have some ideas on kind of what you're going to do, Ideas without much need for language, Okay, I hope that helps someone somewhere.